Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This one I'm doing a set of unicorn nails. Now these are like press-on nails and these are ones that I actually did for a competition at college. It was a competition through our like video lessons that we do and things like that. And I actually won the competition, so I came in first place, so I was really chuffed. So I thought, right, well, I'm really glad I filmed doing it now so I can put these this press on set up. So I did do a full set of 10 nails, but I'm only showing you me doing 6, I think, because I'll just show you the ones that are different. So the 2 pinky fingers I've done the same. I've done I've put the iMaily laser powder, so that's the holographic chrome powder, and that is on the pinky fingers. So I've done that, and then off camera I did just paint some little stars on them, but that was something that I did right at the end of the set, so I didn't record that, but you can't really see it, to be honest. So yeah, there's some stamping in these nails. There's quite a lot of different things that I'm doing. So 2 of the nails are going to have unicorns on, so I'm going to stamp those on. And then what I'm going to do, I'm stamping with stamping polish, but I'm not going to stamp it straight onto the nail. I'm going to then use gel polish just to colour the stamping image in before I stamp it onto the nail. Now normally you use stamping polish, so with gel polish it is a little bit different, and I've had to cut a lot of this out because I get a little LED torch, and what I do is I colour a tiny little bit in and then I flash cure it straight away, because what happens is when you're painting the gel polish on, it shrinks back away from where you've painted it if you don't cure it straight away. So I've cut out loads of bits where I was just curing it, and I've sped it up as well because it took me absolutely ages to fill this all in. Obviously I'm glad that I took my time with it, because you know it ended up being the winner of the competition, which I was so happy about. So yeah, but I did love them in the end, and my daughter loves unicorns as well, so she loved them. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with it, filling all these images in, and then when I am happy with all the colours and everything, I do make sure that I go and I put the stamper underneath the lamp and I cure it for a full minute, just to make sure that everything is cured. Because if you don't do that, you can end up, when you put the stamp onto the nail, it can completely mess up your whole design. And I nearly did that with the second stamping image that I did, because I forgot to put it under the lamp. It had been cured quite a lot with the little torch, but it hadn't had a full cure, so when I placed it onto the nail it did smudge a little tiny bit. It's not really that obvious, but I know that I've done it, so I won't be doing it next time. So yeah, I could have done this freehand, but it would have took me so long. I just thought I've got some really nice stamping images on a stamping plate, so I'll use those instead. So as usual, everything that I've used in the video will be in the description box below. The gel polishes that I've used are mainly Madam Glam and Beetles gel polish, but I will list them all for you so that you can get them if you want to. The pastel colours that I've used, apart from the white, are Beetles ones, and I really do love their pastel colours. They are really vibrant and just perfect for this design, I thought. So when I'm happy with the stamp and I've cured it, I'm going in with some glue gel from She Modern, and that's going to go over the base nail, and that gets cured for 30 seconds, and it just creates a sticky surface so that when you put the stamp on, it does actually stick to it. If you don't put anything on like that, and you just try and stamp it onto a dry nail, it won't come off the stamper, it'll just stay on. So that's why I've done that. And then after that I just go in with a top coat and just seal it all in. Now you have to be very thin when you're doing your coats of gel polish on your stamp, because if you don't, 1, it's going to be harder to cure, and 2, it's going to be harder to get it off the stamper because it's too thick. And it'll stand up off the nail, and it'll be really hard to flatten it down into shape. So just try and make it as thin as possible. That's why it's good to use those Beetles polishes, because they're not really watery, they're really pigmented, so you only need a little bit. So I'm going to put some music on, and then when I get to the next bit I'll come back. Okay, so the next nail, I'm using the same background as last time, so I'm using a white gel polish. And then I'm going over that with Not Your Usual White, which is a Madame Glam colour, and it just gives sort of a pearlescent finish to the nail. So after that, I'm going in with the stamper, and then I've got my image on the stamper. And again, I'm just filling it all in. I don't show you me filling all of this in. I only show a little bit because I've already shown it on the other stamp, and it's exactly the same what I do. And if I kept it in, this video would be way too long. So I've cut most of that out. I'll just come back and show you what it looks like when I've coloured it all in, all the bits that I want. Now what I should have done was I should have got rid of the black parts that I didn't want out from the stamp before I placed it on the nail, but I didn't do that. I forgot to do that, and then I realised that I'd got all this extra black that I didn't want on, so I had to take it off with acetone. So yeah, next time I'd make sure that I didn't do it that way, because it just takes a lot longer wiping it all off, because you've obviously got to be careful that you don't, because your gel polish isn't going to come off because that's cured, but the stamping polish, if you use acetone, is going to come off, so you've got to be very careful. Okay, so the next nail, this is going to be the unicorn horn nail. This is my favourite nail. Well, there's two of them, because there's one for sort of each hand. So what I've done is I've put a base coat of white on. And then after that, I've put a matte top coat on, because it's easier to paint over a matte top coat than it is over a shiny top coat. So I've sped this up because it took me absolutely ages to do it. So I'm doing different stripes in different pastel colours, and I'm keeping it wet. I'm not curing this at all, because what I want is, I want them to be stripes, but I want the edges to blend into each other a little bit. So you'll see as it goes on, they have started to blend. So when I've put all the stripes on, I just go back in with a dry brush and I just make that blend a little bit more. Because I'm going to be putting the chrome powder over the top of this when I've put top coat on it, and I don't want the stripes to be really defined. I want them to be a bit like blurry, because I just think that looks nicer. So when I'm happy with the way that those colours have blended together, I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to go in with this Balance Gel by NSI. This is just clear builder gel. And this is how we're going to make our 3D unicorn nail. Now you could put chrome powder over the top of this nail as it is and it would look really nice. But I really wanted it to be a 3D unicorn horn nail. So I'm going over the stripes with stripes of this gel. And what I want is I want the gel to be thicker in the middle of the stripe, and then I want it to taper out towards the edges so that the highest point is in the middle of the nail, or like the apex of the nail, because you don't want really thick bits at the edge of the nail, because then if you do use these as press-ons, it's going to really stick up from the nail and it's not going to look as good. So I'm doing that for most of, well, all of the stripes, but I'm not making sure that I keep, you know, exactly in the middle of the lines or anything like that. It doesn't really matter as long as you've got that pattern there of the stripes, then, you know, then it'll look really good. So I do that for all of them, and then I do flash cure it in between. So every time I've finished one of the stripes, I make sure that I put it in the lamp, because it's going to self-level and I don't want that to happen. I want it to stay where I've put it. So after I'm happy with that, I will give it a full cure for 1 minute. And then what I'll do is I'll go in with a top coat, and I put it on quite thickly at first, and then I make sure that I wipe the brush off, and then I go back onto the nail and I wipe off as much as I can. And that is just so that it's not too thick, because if your top coat's too thick over this gel, it means that you're then sort of filling in those stripes that you've worked so hard to make sort of prominent. You don't want to, you know, fill them in too much. So yeah, you want that 3D to be as good as it was when you put the gel on, so you don't want to ruin it by putting too much top coat on, so it only needs to be a thin coat. Then I cure that for only 15 seconds, and this is the same with the laser powder and the chrome powder as well. Only cure your top coat for about 15 seconds, and then the chrome will stick to it properly. So I go in with a brush, and this is Magpie's chrome powder. This is Pandora. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm going over with a brush at first, and then I'm using my sponge, makeup sponge, and applicator sponge, one of those eyeshadow ones. And I'm rubbing it in with that, and then finally I'm rubbing it in with my finger as well, just to make sure that it's all smooth, it's in all those gaps, and then when I top coat it, it's going to be covered everywhere. So again, with the top coat, don't put it on too thickly, just make sure that everything's covered, but you're getting in between those stripes and it's not too thick between them, so you keep your 3D nail as a 3D nail. And yeah, those are my favourite nails. I absolutely love the way they turned out. So the next nails are going to be like a marble with those pastel colours. So I've put a foundation of white on, and then I've put a base coat on. So that's called foundation as well. That is the Beatles base coat. And I'm leaving that wet. And then I'm getting my brush and I'm putting it in all of those colours, making sure I've got a little bit of each colour on the brush that I want. And then I'm shaking the brush as I'm putting it down very, very lightly on top of that base coat. And that's how you get your marble nail. If you brush it and press down on it, it's just going to make a mess. It's not going to look the same as if you float it over. So we're on to the thumbnails now, and what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put chrome powder on the top half of the nail. Initially I put it all over the whole nail, and then I thought that I wanted the laser, like holographic powder, at the bottom of the nail. So after I'm happy with the chrome powder, the silver chrome, I put a top coat over that. And then I cure that again for 15 seconds, and then I put the laser powder on the bottom of the nail. And I really love the way this looks, because yeah, it's just silver chrome at the top and then it's holographic at the bottom. And then on this nail after that has been cured and I've put a matte top coat on, I'm going to paint rainbows on the top of them. So again, I'm using those pastel colours that I've got on that palette there. And I'm doing stripes of all the different colours. And then I'm going to use white to do little clouds at the side of the rainbow. Yeah, and I just used the same colours that I've already used for the unicorn, just so that the colours all tied in. And I love these nails. They are so cute when they're done. So when I'm happy with it all, I'll put it in the lamp and I'll cure it. I do cure it in between each stripe, just flash cure it, and then it's not going to go anywhere. And then when it's had a full cure of a minute, I'll go over with top coat and seal it all in. Okay, so here they are all finished. I hope that you can see them well. Yeah, the lighting wasn't brilliant, but I tried my best to get some good photographs of them. So I hope you loved them as much as I did. I really had fun doing this. I've never done unicorn nails before, and I really love them. So thank you so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!